Oh, wow.
You use that term very loosely, don't you?
Oh, congratulations. I have a new grandbaby. She's 4 months old. Oh, really brand new. Yeah, congratulations.
All right, Kyle.
Okay. The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda, public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you, and let's please rise for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence for all those women and men who sacrificed their lives so we can stand here today and represent our country, our state, and of course our town. Thank you.
All right. So I'm just going to warn everybody, I already warned the board, we got a fun-filled, packed agenda tonight, so we're going to try to keep it moving as quick as we can, but there's a lot of items on the agenda. We've been working hard as a board to try to get some things done, and it was a 3-week gap, so we got a lot of stuff on here. So, but I would like to ask the board, is I want to amend the agenda. I want to pull in the presentation for the Badger meter reader system right after we motion for bills, authorizing the bills. So I want to put it between item number 5 and item number 6. I'd like to move them up, and then I'd also, after they're done with their presentation, I would like to actually move the resolution for the reservation agreement to be moved up for the dockside, and that, let me just get the number for you. That's not that one. I should have it at top. And I apologize, I should have had this written down already. But I see that we have a lot of people here. Where is it? So it would be starting with resolution 32 and then 33. So that's for the dockside reservation agreements. I'd like to move that up after the presentation. So I just need a motion to amend the agenda.
Make a motion to amend the agenda to move the presentation and also the 2 resolutions to fall between item number 5 and item number 6.
I'll second that motion.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. Thank you. Okay, so I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. So moved. All right, motion to approve the January 23rd, 2023 Town Board meeting minutes.
Make that motion to approve the January 23rd Town Board meeting minutes.
I'll second that, Manny.
All in favor?
Aye.
So moved. Motion to approve the January 23rd, 2023 public hearing minutes.
I'll make the motion to approve the public hearing minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And where's the abstract?
Right there.
So I need a motion to pay the bills, and this abstract is fairly large, normally larger at the beginning of the year because we're paying out a lot of stuff that we pay for a yearly basis. So the amount is $69,535.32. I need a motion to pay the bills, please.
I'll make that motion to authorize payment of bills.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So moved, thank you. Colleen, we got this here for you. All right, so as I said, we're going to have a presentation tonight. This is for our Badger meter reader system. If I know the board's a little familiar with this, but I'm not sure if the public is, but we've had Badger for many, many, many years. Software is getting to be obsolete. It's not serviced anymore. And we've been pushing this back. I think I mentioned this at another meeting, probably 5 years at this point, Charlie. So I asked Charlie to have them come tonight, give us a presentation. They gave us some estimates, but I want the board to ask questions if they need to. So let me just switch over the screen so you can get on there.
Well, Ken's doing that. My name is Tom Sprague. I was here and sold the first system back in 2008, 2009. It wasn't this building, it was your other.
I was here.
Back there. Were you there? All right. So, I'm well aware of how the whole process went. I think you've been very happy. We've had an excellent product for you. Like the supervisor said, the software has become an issue. The software that you're currently using was developed with Windows 95. So that's how old it is. Today, we moved out of the Windows realm and gone cloud hosting. Ken will go into that a little bit further for you. That's okay. I'm trying to talk loud. Oh. So anyhow, I wanted to come tonight and show you what's available today in the meter reading and software, because a lot has changed since then. One of the big parts is our software now. We don't have to depend on any of the Windows programs. As long as we have internet service, we can do everything into the cloud. So with that being said, I'll let Ken start with the presentation on everything for you.
Thank you, Tom. So I'm Ken Dallinger with Badger Meter. I represent the northeast of the country. I support our distributor network, which Schmitz Wholesale is one of them. They cover pretty much the entire state of New York for us, with the exception of Buffalo. And they do a great job for us. Tom told me about your situation with you have some very old Badger software that was obsoleted a long time ago, which needs to be updated. And it's a substantial investment. So the goal here is to make sure that not only you understand where we're going with software, but with meters, with our entire program, and where the industry is going, because there's nothing worse than spending a bunch of money and 5 years from now saying, I wish we had done something else. So hopefully we can, I know we're limited on time, but I'll get through these slides as quick as possible. If you have questions, please stop me. Keep it informal. So
Or do you want to wait till the end for the questions?
doesn't matter. It's totally up to you. Totally up to you. I'll keep it up to you. That's neat behind my head. So we'll talk a little bit about meters themselves, the different kind of technologies today. I'll keep that very short. The reading systems is what we want to focus on. Today you're doing what's called AMR, or drive-by meter reading. But you have some old software and you have some old radios that are sending these reads out. So we'll talk about where that's going. The data collection, how that works today, and then the software. We won't get deep into the software, but I'll give you just a flavor for what our Beacon software can do compared to what your current it wasn't Read Centers before that, it was Connect software. And then some of the things that it interacts with GIS systems. We now have a consumer portal called Ion Water, where the consumer can see their water usage, kind of get a feel for it. So that's what I like to cover. A little bit about Badger Meter first. Been in business since 1905. You'll see a couple other icons up there, ATI and SCAN. We recently purchased some companies that focus on water quality. So besides meter reading, we're also looking at bringing data into the system, like water quality, chlorine levels, contaminants, things like that. Won't spend a lot of time on this. We've been in business a long time. We're in 50 countries. We have 9 manufacturing sites and 5 R&D centers. And our focus is just what you do, municipal water. 76% of our business is municipal water. As far as market share, 25 to 30% of the meters sold in the U.S. are Badger meters. And I mentioned the term AMR. Those are the reading systems, AMR and AMI. We have a pretty good sized market share of that also when you look at the amount of competitors we have. So here's where we like to start. What kind of problems do you really want to solve with this meter reading technology? And here's what we commonly hear from utilities. Too many calls leading to field investigations. Need timely and correct data for decision making. We don't have confidence our meters are accurate. Need to account for water sold or ops, unaccounted for water, water loss, non-revenue water. Lack of manpower for routine maintenance. Too much time spent analyzing reports, and our customers don't trust their water bills. I suppose you never heard that. So what we've done, and I won't read through all these, is we've tried to, through our software and our meter reading systems, including the meter itself, try to address all those things. Ion Water, a consumer portal where a consumer can actually see what that usage looks like when they sprinkle their lawn 3 times a week. So kind of the skin in the game for the customer. Most of this is software related. We're doing things like checking for leaks, constantly monitoring a system for leaks, looking for non-revenue water loss in your system. So we'll get into the meters a little bit. On the left, you'll see what's called a mechanical or positive displacement meter. That's what you're using today. On the right is newer technology called ultrasonic meters. Both are a viable option for you. We are not going to discontinue our mechanical meters, but ultrasonic is becoming more and more popular. I won't spend a lot of time on this. Our meters use what's called a nutating disc technology. It's basically the measuring chamber inside the meter. We're not the only ones that use that, but it is the most accurate of all the positive displacement meters. We take it one step further and have an oversized measuring chamber. So for every gallon of water that goes through your water meter, our meter moves less, so it's less water, more long-term accuracy. Go through that. So ultrasonic meters. Becoming more and more popular. The big deal is there's no moving parts. So the accuracy is the same the day you put it in and the day you take it out. They last 20 years, 20-year warranty on the accuracy. They can capture higher and lower flows. So where you might be missing out on some of those toilet leaks and some of those dripping faucets, these meters pick up virtually everything. We also now have an ultrasonic meter with a built-in flow restriction valve. So from a utility, with an AMI system, you could restrict the flow of water to someone's home for non-payment, or maybe it's a snowbird that went away and has a leak. You can turn their water off without having to go out to the curb stop. And then our larger ultrasonic meters for commercial industrial applications. I don't know how much commercial stuff you have here, but we talked about compound meters earlier. These meters actually are going to replace the need for any compound or turbo meters in the future. They're very accurate. They have temperature and pressure sensors built right in. There's a lot of great things that these can do to help you monitor your system. We won't go through flow data. Okay, so that's real brief on meters, what's available out there. The next thing I want to talk about is meter reading. So again, today you're what's called AMR, or automated meter reading, where you drive around and there's radios on all these meters and you pick it up on a laptop or a tablet with an antenna. Works fine. We're still going to offer it. It'll still be around. The system that you have today is a little older technology. It's one-way communication, so you're basically just getting a meter read, and that's all you're getting. The newer ones now are two-way, so we can actually send commands to it, firmware upgrades, things like that. We can extract data from that meter as far as historical data, so a little bit more advanced. The shortcomings of AMR are this. The data is really limited to how often you read. So if you read quarterly, which most utilities do, you're never going to know what's really going on as far as leaks in a home, leaks in your system, commercial accounts. You really can't tell because you're not reading often enough. The other downfall is it requires some hardware. So a laptop, a tablet, some kind of an antenna kit. Those are, after every few years you have to replace those. So those are the downfalls of AMR. Becoming more popular though, and here's what it looks like. It's basically on the left, you'll see it's a radio, called an endpoint, and it's communicating to a truck driving around with an antenna, and then that information is brought back to your software, whatever it is. In our case, we have Beacon cloud-based software that's bringing these reads in and then interacting with your billing software to get those bills out. So that's all I really need to cover as far as mobile read, because you're doing it today. But becoming more and more popular is what's called AMI, or fixed network reads. This isn't new, but our approach to this is a little different. We call it network as a service. Typically, an AMI system would have gateways, gateways throughout this utility on top of towers or buildings or wherever you could find them. And those gateways collected the data from the meters and then brought it into the software. Those gateways are the weak link. They're something that utilities have to purchase, install, and maintain. And it can be quite expensive to do that. Nobody wants to climb that water tower to fix it when it gets hit by lightning. So Badger moved to a system. Thanks, Gail. called infrastructure-free AMI, where we use the existing cell network to collect the reads from the meters. So the radio, as you know it today, is now a cellular endpoint, which is reading the meter every 15 minutes and sending reads through an existing cellular network, whether it's Verizon or whoever it happens to be in this area, whoever has best coverage, and then sending it right to our cloud-hosted software. So no one needs to read meters, and the utility doesn't have to spend any money on infrastructure. It's all done for you. We have less than 0.5% return rate on these products. Basically, it's a 20-year warranty on this product, including the network. So if you're concerned about cellular network changes, it's a 20-year warranty on the product and the network. Secure, 3GPP based, which is the governing body that governs all cell carriers. We are compatible with most of the competitors, so if you have any competitive meters out there, we can connect to them. So why cellular? It's very simple. Those two things, the meter and the endpoint, is all you're responsible for. Everything else is on Badger. That's network as a service. There's a monthly fee for that, but we take care of all the software upgrades, all of the system upgrades, all the negotiations with the cell carriers done by us. Savings because you're not installing any infrastructure of those gateways. Yep.
I'm going to interrupt. Can you go back to the meter?
Sure.
So the current meters we have, obviously every one of them would have to be replaced?
Depending on, no, not necessarily the meter. Depending on the age, you might want to look at that. But the meter itself, this is still working fine. We can connect the cellular endpoint to it on this wire.
So what we currently, how many of those, Charlie, do we have like that?
How many meters?
No, do we have, are they all that type right there?
Yes.
The AMI meter, right? That's the one that collects the cellular data.
You don't have AMI now.
But now we don't have that.
Right.
That's where we want to.
We would have to put one of these on the meter to turn it into an AMI system. And what you have today, your drive-bys, probably 10, 12 years old. So that product had a 10-year full and 10-year prorated warranty. So within the next 5 years or so, you're going to be looking at replacing it.
And that's how many years?
It was a 10-year full, I think 10-year prorated warranty at that time.
How many meters do we have right now?
We have about 1,500
1,500,
meters.
right?
So I mean, last time it took us, what did it take, Charlie, 3 years to do the meters?
3 years to change meters?
Yeah.
They're not cheap.
Yeah, the meters themselves are fine. I mean, they're, you know,
The other question I had, you had a thing where it said you do 25 to 30% of the area. Now, there are other
Meter
companies
market.
do the same thing?
oh yeah, yeah.
How many of them are there as big as you guys are? or-
Yeah, no, there's Neptune, Census, there's several large meter companies, Mueller.
And they could do the same adaption?
Not everyone does cellular. A lot of them do those traditional fixed networks with the gateways I was talking about. We were the first with cellular in 2014, and they're just starting to come out. Neptune just came out with one this year, and I think Census is trying to come out with one. So the market's moving in that direction.
Yep. So
But-
there's a set price right now that you would be doing it for. So if I'm on the town board doing my due diligence, would I get a quote from one of the other ones if you were in the situation?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
No, and we encourage that. My goal here is to make sure that you make the right decision for the next, however many years you're going to be reading these meters.
I have one question for my supervisor. Well, now, is this all going to go to the user? It's not going to go to the whole tax base? So,
Just the district.
yes, that means that I'm the only one up here that gets affected.
Yeah,
Up on top.
only the 1,500 meters.
Right,
the
so that's a big expense for 1,500 meters for that big a district.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, that's why we've been pushing it off for 5 years. Because the expense is so expensive, you know,
So are
we get it, but we're at the point where it's getting dangerous because the software is not supported anymore at all.
You have
So if the-
locally hosted software.
If the software crashes, you're in trouble, right? You know, which, you know, I don't know if everybody realizes, we actually have a separate server we're using just for Badger to communicate back to our other systems. So we're kind of doing a backdoor approach just in case it crashes, that we still kind of have a backup, but
it's not a good way to be doing business. So we've been pushing it and pushing it. So I'm not saying we're going to do this, I mean, I want to do this right now, but we got to budget it, right? We got to look at what the numbers are going to cost, and this is what you start to do. You start looking at the numbers now, and you see if it's something we could work into our budget and go from there. But, you know, we have to get up with the times, and, you know, cellular is the way. The only thing I have an issue with cellular is like when cellular, like the service is out or the service is not great, because being in the valley, right, we have peaks and valleys, and a lot of places in our town doesn't get really good service.
Especially in the village.
So I'm a little worried about
So
that.
the first thing we
particular
would do is we would do a cellular coverage analysis, and
Yeah.
that, we do that on our dime. We check every one of your addresses. This is not like a cell phone. This is a stationary device. It finds a cell tower, and it's sending a tiny little data packet, smaller than a text message. So it doesn't take very much signal at all. I won't say it's, you know, we do have some areas that are completely dead, but it's rare.
So at this point, like, I can't even take a cell call in my house.
It
won't
really,
affect it.
nothing like a phone call.
It's like a text message.
It's even smaller. A lot of times, if you can't get a call out, you can still send a text, same kind of thing. We're working on a very different bandwidth than the 5Gs of the world. We're worried about video streaming and all that. We're out of that. We're into just machine-to-machine communication, tiny little data packets.
So with the cellular service, my secretary would be able, because she does the water billing, she would be able to get real-time data at any time?
So the endpoint reads the meter every 15 minutes and sends the data 4 times a day. So not real time, but 4 times a day.
4 times a day, we'll get data.
And
So
you can
like if
see the
we can
data
see if
down
there's
to a
like, because,
minute.
yeah, you might be able to pick a leak up a lot quicker than,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, 3 months down the line, and then we'd hit someone with a $2,000 bill, and they're like, what happened? So,
Absolutely.
I mean, that was some of the reasons I really wanted to look at this, is because we have had that happen quite a few times.
Does the system monitor, does the software monitor for that and send
Yes.
alerts, or is that a person? Okay.
Yes, and in fact, with the consumer portal, they can set their own leak alerts if they wish to, but you will definitely get alerted. Yeah, and I won't get deep into the software, but there's so many things you can do with this. Our meters with the pressure and temperature sensors on them, you can set alerts in the system so that your meter techs get notified if there's a pressure drop or a pressure spike, water main break, you'd pick up like that. So there's a lot to this, and again, I don't want to get everybody too excited. The main goal here is you have to get rid of that Connect software and get on the new software. From there, you have all kinds of options. You don't have to stay drive-by. We just wanted to show you what's available, but drive-by is still a viable option. The good thing about our Beacon cloud-hosted software is we can do any combination. You can have half your system on drive-by, half it on cellular. Some people just put it on commercial industrial accounts, or you can do the whole system in cellular. So.
Yeah, I mean, the guys, they do a good job with the drive-by service we
Yeah.
currently have.
And again, it's just the
You
amount of
know.
data you're getting. That's, if you're reading quarterly, you're not going to pick up those leaks and things like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like, I want to see what this, like, when we get there, what this service would cost compared to what we're having.
Yep.
Not saying we could do it, because I know the cost is obviously more.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see what the cost would be when we get there.
And that's kind of the beauty of the cellular is the costs are known. It's
Yeah.
roughly $12 per meter per year. And that's everything, network as a service. There's no license fees, there's no annual fees, it's all in that one fee.
It's all in the one price?
And it's every year, it's $12.
Yep,
That's $12 per meter?
per meter per year.
But we have to upgrade to those meters.
You would have to upgrade to those meters. So there's the expense of the meter itself.
What's typically a meter cost?
Just the radio or the entire meter?
Both.
No, we already have the meters, so I mean, whatever.
Yeah, if you're just replacing this, under $200 each. I'm not replacing it almost time.
How much is that?
$200.
So is that something we're gonna pass on to the consumer, or something that we're gonna?
No. He has a question for you.
Is that something we're passing to the consumer, or something that we're absorbing?
No. Anything that gets billed directly to the consumer. I mean, through their district tax, right?
So it's
Through
going to go
their
on your
billing.
water bill?
It would be on your water bill. Well, yeah, it has to, anything that deals with water or sewer is only paid within the district, right? So we'd have to get the budgetary number for the year, and then we figure out our rate based on what that would be. So if we increase this number by a significant amount, we could do it by 2 different ways. We could do it by rate per 1,000 gallons, or we can do it by putting a separate fee on there to pay off
$200.
the debt that we're going to incur for the meters, right? And then the $12 fee, you could separate that. We try to do things by the actual 1,000 gallons because it's a little easier for people to understand. But as you saw, we did it with our water bills in the last year. I did separate it so people could understand what they were paying, because and it was a little hard for people to get used to that. But now I think they understand it quite easy. So they see what they're paying for. It's not just the water rate. There's a lot of things that go into that water rate. So it's just a matter of how you break it down, Manny. So, but I wanted to make sure you guys understand, it's 1,500 meters times whatever the cost is.
What's the breakdown between Marlborough and Milton, Charlie?
It's a lot of money.
Meters.
Yeah.
The meters, the breakdown between how many meters we have in Marlborough and how many meters we have in Milton.
Plus the software upgrade.
I don't have an exact number, whatever you give.
It's almost a little bit more than half in Marlborough. Probably about 60% in Marlborough,
40% Milton.
40% in Milton.
Out of the 1,500?
And everybody has a meter that's on the system.
Almost there. Well, everybody has a meter, yes. Some people don't have this system. Okay, I'm sorry I interrupted,
That's
but
all right, no problem. So we talked about the meter calling in 4 times a day, getting that data. It's very predictable. If it calls in at 17 minutes after the hour, it's always going to call at 17 minutes after the hour. So where that comes in handy is, so a customer wants to close out their account. Rather than have to send a meter tech out there to read the meter, you can actually go right into the Beacon software. In this case, we'd like to close our account. We're moving out next week on Friday, September 26th, and we should be out by 10 a.m. And over the phone, you can simply say your meter will call in at 11:17. We'll look to make sure water's not being used, and we'll close out your account. No one has to go out for a final read anymore. A high bill complaint, which never happens, right? So, Miss Jenny, I'm sure why I have such a high water bill. You say I have a leak in my home somewhere. Is the leak still going on? You can go right into the software and tell her exactly what's going on. Miss Jenny, it's 8:28 a.m. The last reading we received from your meter was at 7:17. The meter reading was 8675309. Sing it, Tom. And still shows continuous flow for 48 days. So that quick, you can answer those questions. And with the consumer portal Eye on Water, you can actually be looking at the same data at the same time when you're on a phone call with the customer. I won't go through that. So we talked a little about the 2 different types of fixed networks, the traditional, which is on the left, and all the things that are involved in it. I won't read through them, but there's a lot involved. Our system, again, required a cellular coverage analysis, which we do for you at no charge, and a monthly fee. Everything else is taken care of. And that's what it looks like. Machine-to-machine communication network, private network, no public internet. We use the same security as Amazon Web Services. Very secure. We won't go through these, but on the right is what we manage, and on the left are the 3 check marks that you're responsible for. So it really is truly network as a service. And I'm moving quick because I know we're close on time. Okay, the rest is software-based. I don't know if you want to see that tonight or save that for another time.
If you could you send this presentation to us?
I can send it, but it's very large.
Okay.
I can zip it and send it.
Zip it?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think I could, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as long as you get it to Charlie, and then I could decipher.
Yeah, I'll get it. I have to get clearance on. I'm not sure if I have to take certain things out, but I'll definitely get the base of the presentation to you. The software we could do at another time.
So for our system, you guys know what we have right now. We need an actual software upgrade first before we even get to what we're going to decide with the meter.
Correct.
And do you guys have a ballpark number as far as what that software upgrade would cost us at this point?
Mm-hmm.
Can you give the board an update?
About $22,000 would include the hardware to be able to work with Windows 10 and go forward. For all that, about $22,000.
22?
Now, you said there's a yearly charge of $12. Approximately, I'm not going to hold you to the number.
That's cellular.
That's
That's cellular. That's not what we're talking about here.
Oh, we're not going to tell you.
This is just upgrading your software.
It's only 11 cents, the big difference.
So there's really 3 things involved in upgrading the
We
software.
have to have the software up there, right?
There's the beacon engagement to get you engaged in our beacon software. There's a billing system integration, because you have a billing vendor, I believe. Who is it now?
Currently, it's BAS.
So, and you may be changing, I understand? Is that something you're discussing?
Well, BAS has been bought out by Edmunds.
Okay.
Right? And
So
I
there's-
believe they say they work with yours?
Yes, we work with Evans all the time, but there's an interface that has to get built between the two softwares. There's a fee for that, which is in that number Tom gave you. Edmunds is also going to charge you that fee, so you might want to negotiate that
Yeah, I
now.
gotta talk to them. I mean, because that's part of the problem right now. The Badger, your software and the BAS software are not really that compatible.
No, because ours is ancient.
Yeah.
What you have is ancient.
So there's a couple other conversations we have to have, but, you know, I know at the end of the day, we have to start moving to get this done. So we're talking software is about 22,000.
That's for a tablet and a receiver and everything onto it.
That's not just software, that includes the reading.
Let's bring somebody in here for 2 days to do training, so that there's a lot to it. I only have 3 copies, but this is, I believe, what would be required, for the drive-by, to continue
Yep.
down that road with the software and everything. The cellular, I've got a copy of that quote too, that's a lot cheaper because there's no tablet or anything like that on there. But in order to move and continue to read what you have, you
Thank you.
have to go to the 22 for this. I looked at Charlie's laptop a couple weeks ago. He's got Vista on it.
Yeah, I know.
So I don't know how old Vista is, but.
That's old.
Pretty old.
Yes, it is.
It's out there. So that system doesn't.
So
go
these are two
anywhere at
different-
this point. You've got a pretty good dollar value out of that.
And you said the other company is going to charge us also, correct? The
Your
billing company.
Your billing vendor will have a
Your
fee
billing
for the
vendor will
integration.
have,
But if you're negotiating with them now, have them
Right.
included.
Well, for 1,500 people, that's a big expense for 1,500 people to get all, to pay this whole thing.
Yeah, the billing vendors aren't, I can't say what they're going to charge, but I think ours, what's our billing integration for them? Was it like
But even the 20, it's
probably
22,
$3,000?
I mean, even the 22,000 plus the 12 is correct? Is that what I'm looking at? I have one sheet that says 12 and one says 22.
well,
The two differences.
the confusing part, the 22,000
Yep.
would be to be able to read what you still have.
Okay,
Because your laptop's not gonna do it, so you gotta have a new tablet and new equipment to read that. If you want to go cellular, there's probably a $4,000 item we can pull out of there. That's to read the next drive-by system, so we can pull that out of there. But as far as going cellular, it would be 12,000. Today, I just want to go cellular, and forget about reading what I have, it would be 12 grand. But, you still have an investment out there that you can still get use out of for the next 4 or 5 years as these components start to die off.
So the cellular software
It's the same.
upgrade would be cheaper.
Because
but
of, because you don't
The
have any.
service fee monthly would be much, much more.
Right.
But you're saying once you go cellular, what does that include? I'm sorry.
It's network as a service, everything, there's no other fee, it's just that
Right.
$12 a year per meter.
So we don't have to have our own server here, it's all cloud-based?
Either
right?
way, it's going to be cloud-based, yes.
So, but you're saying at the cellular side of it, it's $12 per customer? Per year. $12 per year, or $12 per reading?
Per meter, per year.
Per
Meter
meter.
per year. And then what is it if
And
we
they-
stay with what we got?
So there's also a monthly fee. I think
Right.
it's 11
I
cents.
thought it was like 11 cents,
But-
right? So I know it's a huge difference. That's
But
why I said-
with mobile read, you have an annual license fee and you have user login, so there's those ongoing fees.
And I got that right here.
Yep.
It's like $600 for the reader annual license fee, and there's a $600 annual just license fee for Badger. So you got a $1,200 a year fee.
Yep.
Plus 11 cents per meter
Correct.
So 11 cents per month.
per month,
Per
which
month.
is $165 a month. You got $19.80 a year, so you're talking $31.80 per year, basically. in
Yep.
that part. If you stay with what we got.
If you stay with what's
Compared to,
happening.
what's $12 times 1,500 is 18,000 a year.
$18,000.
Big difference for the data.
So that's why we make Charlie and the guys drive around, right?
And again.
Plus the
if-
cost of the
if-
radios.
if water loss isn't a concern, I mean, a lot of utilities have big water loss numbers, and if you look at your revenue for water, that number can be a little scary, so we can control a lot of that with that kind of
Yeah, I mean,
data.
it's something we have to decide what direction we want to go. If we want to start off one way and then eventually get to the next level.
Yeah.
But either way, we do have to upgrade our software.
Yes,
So,
that's the main thing.
So that's the main thing. It's just a matter of which way we go with this. So, do you guys have any more questions on this? I mean, we'll take all this information, we'll copy it, we'll digest it, and then we'll talk to Charlie more, and then we'll make our decisions budgetarily. So, I mean, we have money in our budget for software upgrades and things like that, but unfortunately, this is a district expense, so it doesn't come out of that budget. So it would have to be billed to the district. So we'll have some email conversations about it, and we'll go through it. But do you guys have any more questions for these guys while they're here? Or we kind of question them out?
One of the ways to get that $12 is what some of my customers have done in the past is put a technology fee on it. Because you're actually offering the customer an eye on water, something where they can monitor their own water, like Ken says, that skin in the game. So instead of you sending out a $2,000 water bill because high water bill, they know about it ahead of time, so that they would be able to figure out what's going on and get it fixed before
Yeah.
it gets to that point.
I mean, honestly, look, it's $12 a year per meter. So, the customer's going to pay $12 once a year. It's real. If you look at it in that aspect, it's really not a lot of money. So when you take the cumulative, right, you say,
Yes,
oh, it's $18,000, right? You're like, oh, it's a lot of money. But $12 per customer, they might not mind it. But I'm sure I'll get 25 calls. But
And I'll get
but
a lot more than you, 'cause I'm-
maybe more than that. But the thing is, it's 12. Anything in today's world, look, $12 is still $12, right? So we'll take it into consideration, and we'll look at it and see what the actual water superintendent really wants to do, because I'm going to take Charlie's input more than anything else and where he wants to go with his water district. I call it his water district, so. All right,
you for your
thank you
time.
very much. I appreciate it.
Let me switch back over. No signal. Press your buttons.
Okay, I got a lot of Badger reading to do.
There you go. You got the resolutions now, right? I think that's the first one, huh? 32?
32.
32 and 33.
Yeah. Okay, so per the amended agenda, we're going to go into to our resolution 32. As the board knows, and I'm sure the public knows, Dockside property had been sold to Layton Properties a little over a year ago now. Ron Cypress is here in the audience from Layton Properties if the board chooses to have any questions. But I could just tell you, Ron's been instrumental in getting this agreement done, and he's been a pleasure to work with, and they've been extremely well
Thank you, Joe.
versed with the town, and I think we're heading in the good direction and hopefully getting into the planning board process in the right spot. So I appreciate all the work you did there, Ron. And Ron had some inspirational pictures, which I told him I'm going to steal. See, Gail, I'm finally going to get pictures from my office because Ron had a professional go out for inspiration of why they're actually building here in Marlborough. And these are just some of the inspirational pictures as they went around and took pictures of our beautiful hamlet. And I'm assuming you're going to use these in your brochures when you try to sell these beautiful houses. Oh, that one's definitely going in my office right there. So that's just some inspirational pictures. But if you want to see them, probably in a couple of weeks, you'll see them in my office. But let's get to our reason why he's here. And this has been a year in the making, and here we go. So this is resolution number 32 to authorize the filing of a negative declaration of notice, therefore pursuant to the requirements of SECRA and 6 MYCRR 617.12 of its implementing regulations. SECRA negative declaration and notice of determination of non-significance. Whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Board, on behalf of the hamlet of the Marlborough Sewer Improvement Area, proposes to enter into reservation of capacity agreement with SDL Marlborough LLC for the reservation of public wastewater collection and treatment capacity, the agreement. And whereas this determination of non-significance, i.e. negative declaration, is prepared in accordance with Article 8 of the Environmental Conservation Law, the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, SECRA, and its implementing regulations set forth in 6 MYCRR Part 617 regulation. And whereas the Town Board has directly undertaken action of reviewing said agreement, and it is only involved agency and is therefore the lead agency for the environmental review of this action pursuant of SECRA and its implementing regulations. I'm not going to read all this, but I'm just going to read some of the stuff. Whereas the name and address of the lead agency is the Town of Marlborough Town Board, 21 Milton Turnpike, Milton, New York, 12547, and the responsible officer, Scott Corcoran, Town of Marlborough Town Supervisor, with the telephone number 845-795-5100. And whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Board as lead agency has classified this action as an unlisted action pursuant of 6 MYCRR 617.6 of the regulations. And whereas the Town of Marlborough Town Board has caused the preparation of a short environmental assessment form, EAF, for review of action including Part 1, 2, 3, and the EAF. And whereas the Town Board has lead agency for the environmental review of this action, has reviewed the action and all relevant supporting information and documentation, has identified the relevant areas of environmental concerns, has compared the reasonably expected results, and the action where the criteria set in 6 MYCRR 617.7 has determined that there will be no significant adverse environment impacts association with the action. And this has been online for some time now. The board has had this information for a long time, so if anybody has any questions or wants me to read every line of this, I will. But if not, if no one has any questions, I will get down to the bottom part of the negative declaration, SECRA. So be it further resolved that the Town of Marlborough Town Board hereby authorizes the filing of this negative declaration and notice, therefore pursuant to the requirements of SECRA and 6 MYCRR 617.12 of the implementing regulation. And the foregone resolution was voted upon with all the council persons voting as follows.
Supervisor Corcoran,
Yes.
Councilman Molinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Kauke,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa,
Yes.
This negative declaration is adopted this 13th day of February 2023 and is ordered into the record of the Town of Marlborough Town Board. And then this follows up the actual reservation agreement. So this is resolution number 33 to authorize the town supervisor to sign an agreement. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following. Supervisor Corcoran introduced the following resolution, which was seconded by Councilman Molinelli as follows. Whereas SDL Marlborough LLC, the developer, owns a certain real property located at 137 Dock Road, 8 Hudson Way, 103 Dock Road, identified collectively as Section 109.1 and Section 108.4, Block 3, in lots 13, 14.2, 15, and 29.1 on the tax map of the town of Marlborough, the property. And whereas the developer intends to construct a multifamily housing development, including not more than 101 residential units and a clubhouse on the property in the town of Marlborough, the town, state of New York, and whereas the developer must obtain various land use approvals, including with limitations, a zoning change, and site plan approval, collectively the approvals. And whereas the applicant for the approval shall be subject to independent review by the town board, the planning board, and other involved agencies. Such reviews shall include, without limitations, review pursuant to the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQRA. And whereas the developer of the property, the developer will need the Hamilton Marlborough Sewer Improvement Area, the HMSIA, to provide municipal sewer service to the property. And whereas the developer has requested to enter into this agreement with the town of Marlborough on behalf of the HMSIA, pursuant to which the HMSIA shall provide municipal sewer service property. So again, I'm not going to read every single one of these things. Well, I'm almost there, I guess. Whereas the town supervisor and the attorney to the town negotiated these terms of agreement with the developer, and whereas the agreement requires approval by the Marlborough Town Board, now therefore it be resolved that the town board approves and authorize the supervisor execute the proposed agreement between the developer and the town annexed hereto as Exhibit A in the same or substantially the same form. The foregone resolution was voted upon with the council persons voting as follows. But before you do that, I just want to show the public A, and I just want to point out the main parts of the agreement. So in this reservation agreement, the Marlborough sewer plant is going to reserve, we're going to reserve 35,000 gallons per day for this project. So currently we have a plant that's 175,000 to about 180,000 max capacity a day. We use 115,000 on average right now. But we will be expanding the plant for 50,000 more gallons per day, and we're in the process of getting that put out to bid. So we're going to have enough capacity for them. But having said that, we don't have the capacity yet, so the developer and the town board has come up with this agreement to reserve the 35,000 capacity, and we're both taking some sort of risk here. So they're going to be paying monies up front based on what we're passing today and a zone change that they have to apply for, and then they got to go through their planning board process, and there's other payments. So it's going to be in a 3-payment system, and I'm going to get to that part. So the reserve capacity charge is the sum of $609,000, entitling developer to the town reservation of wastewater collection and a treatment capacity of up to 35,000 gallons per day at a rate of 1740 gallons per gallon payable as follows. The first payment in the amount of $203,000 will be paid within 30 days of the issuance of the final zoning map and tax approval to be applied by the owner. That means after we pass this, and once they get their zone change approved, the payment was in 30 days of $203,000. So they're going to pay $203,000 before they even know they got planning board approval. So that's their risk. We're going to start expanding the plant before they get planning board approval. So that's our risk. So we're both taking risks. The second payment in the amount of $106,000 is within 30 days of final site plan approval of the project, and that's getting through the planning board process. And the third balance is paid of the $300,000 is going to be paid in $2,907.30 upon issuance of each certificate of occupancy per unit. So each unit that they build, which they're going to build multiples at a time, that they will be paying the remaining $300,000 off as they build. But they also have, immediately would have to pay the balance off on the 3rd anniversary of the date of the issuance of the final site plan approval. So there's a lot of things that were discussed here, a lot of things they didn't want to do, a lot of things we didn't want to give on, but I think we came up with an agreement that we both can live with, and I just wanted to explain that a little to the public. So there's a lot of things that we put in there, late payment fees, as you could say, 30 days, the 3 years that they have to pay it. So this isn't going to be like the Bayside thing where it sits 15 years. It's going to have to be paid. And they're going to build anyway, so I know that. Right, Ron? Yeah. Okay. You guys have any other questions for Ron before we vote on this? Because I know this is the big deal. You good?
I'm good.
We're good. Okay.
Supervisor Corcoran,
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli,
Yes.
Councilman Kauki,
Yes.
Councilman Zambito,
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Ron, you have your agreement. I'll get it signed and we'll send it over to you guys ASAP. All right? Thank you. Thank you, board. So you can get out of here, Ron, if you want. Thank you. Okay, now let's get back to our regular broadcasting system. All right, where are we? So now we're on comments on the agenda, right? Item number 6. Anybody have any comments on the agenda? Okay, so my report, I almost don't want to read this tonight, but I'm going to read it because I didn't read the last time. But I kind of mixed it up tonight with a bunch of meetings that we had, but attended Ulster County Town Supervisor Mayor's monthly meeting at the Municipal Center in Marlborough Town, which I go every month. I had conference call with Jane Lennox, General Adjuster for the Property Claim Travelers Property Casualty Company America. So this is our fire claim at the North Pier. So this is the last, I put these numbers in here just today because I just got these last numbers today. The claim is looking to be settled for an estimated $72,176.71 for the fire damage. And then the pier ADA compliance building section of it is $164,000. So we're over, obviously over the 200 and plus mark. How this works, board, just so you know, is the $72,176. We get a percentage of that up front right away, as long as I agree to this. I mean, we agree to this, I should say. You got to actually give me approval to agree to this, but I'm not going to ask you for approval tonight. I'm going to send you what I get, and then you guys could look at the information. But I just got this today. So we get a percentage of that, roughly about $56,000 and change to start off with. And then the ADA compliant monies we would get after we bid it out, we would get a percentage, and then it has to be completed before we get the remaining balance. It's kind of like almost like a grant in a way. But those are the numbers I got as of today. So I'll send you the information once I get a little more from her tomorrow. I had multiple meetings with the town engineer, Phil Bell, and the contractors, the general construction, HVAC, plumbing, and electrical to go over the schedule and to-do list at the Tomback renovation project. As you see, that's moving forward. Again, like I said before, it's moving slow, but it's moving forward. Some pictures, these are small. These are the systems, the heating systems going in. This is the extension center. This is some more in the back room for heating. We're trying to make the roofs as high as we can, so they're tightening up everything to the roof. They started putting the walls in. These are some old, there's even more in now. But these are the headers that they're putting in. This is some more of the HVAC work. The roof shingles are completed. This is our system for our venting system for the stove. And again, the roof is complete, and they got a lot of material delivered today, so they're moving right along. I had multiple meetings with Sue Sullivan, Rob Pollock, Bob Wilson, Mike Desmini, and Kevin Gogan to go over the $2 million Restore New York grant the town applied for with Mr. Pollock for his Milton projects. Met with School Superintendent Mike Rydell, Roseanne Miley, Chief Kokoza, and all the school safety committee members to review the overall emergency management plans with the school district buildings. We do this quarterly, which is very impressive what the school does. People don't realize how much they put into safety into their buildings, but they take it extremely serious. Met with the school superintendent, Mike Rydell, Roseanne Miley, and Chief Kokoza, discussed SRO shared service agreement contract amendment, and the new school resource officer, which we're moving forward on. Had a conference call with CSX Representative Kevin Kiwazanski, Aaron Gogling, Carol Engel, and the town attorney, Jerry Kamados, about the Milton Landing Crossing project. We're still hung up on the crossing as far as the maintenance agreement. We're just waiting on them. We gave them our last feedback, and it's been, almost a month. And we have not got a response back from them, so we're still waiting. Met with Chief Kokoza, Code Enforcement Officer Corcoran, to go over new parking tickets, to update our code book, to reflect all the changes we'd like to put into our tickets and code. And so our tickets are outdated, and Jerry's got a comparable ticket that we can use, and we're going to put those, but we're going to actually codify it a little better, and we're going to put those numbers in our fee schedule. So we're moving forward on that. Had multiple meetings with Rosemary and Jerry Wine, Deputy Supervisor Appler, to go over municipal park grant as well as the Milton Landing Park LWRP grants. Many meetings this month about that. Had multiple conference calls with Barbara Kendall from the New York State Office of Planning, Development and Community Infrastructure, and Monique Legrand, the Senior Project Manager from the Mid-Hudson Empire State Development of New York State, to discuss our grants. Met with Tina Rosa, Todd McNuff, Vice President of Corporate Services of NFF, which is our NFP, which is our town insurance, to go over our yearly insurance estimates. This is for our building and liability insurance. Met with Emma Cohen and Markowitz from Senator Hinchy's office and Deputy Supervisor Appler, and we discussed for about an hour and 20 minutes a grant request that we're asking Senator Hinchy that she might be able to help us out with, either grants or member items on various projects we want to do around town. Met with Herb Litz, Sean Grimm from GPI Engineering, to go over the Highway Water Department building renovation project. In attendance was Councilman Zambito, Superintendent Alonji, Superintendent Maggio, Chief Kokoza, Building Inspector Corcoran, Deputy Superintendent Lazaroff, and this is to get all our input. I actually just got some designs back, which I will share with everybody soon. Had multiple conference calls with Dennis Larios to go over the Marlborough Sewer Expansion Project, the reservation agreement for Dockside Project. We also discussed the declassification of the Marlborough Reservoir, which will help our insurance. Our insurance company keeps asking us to see if we can get our reservoir declassified. That eliminates inspections and fees and obviously insurance costs. And declassifying means that if it ever flooded, it wouldn't flood any housing and properties to the extent that it would cause major damage. So we're trying to get that done, and Dennis has been doing a lot of work for that. Had multiple conversations with Ron Cypress and Scott Layton to discuss the terms of the reservation agreement for the project at the Marlborough Sewer Plant. Attended the Marlborough Milton Senior Citizens meeting to discuss what has been going on in town and answer all their questions. Had multiple meetings with Assessor Cindy Hilbert, Superintendent Mike Riddell, Deputy Supervisor Gail Appler, Legislator Tom Corcoran, and Marlborough Fireman Tom Coupart to discuss their firemen's new tax exemption law. And had multiple meetings with Dallas Mansion, Business Developer Manager for Nexamp, to discuss the new solar farm being built at Bally's Gap Road. And so that's my report. And now I got Building Inspector Report, Tom Corcoran. Where's my reports? Let's bring it up here. Get out of the way. All right, Building Inspector Report for the month of January 2023. Certificates of occupancy 8, requests for information 10, building extensions 13, fire inspections 35, water remedy 8, complaints 26, total gas usage 87, total mileage 1,190, building permits, addition renovations 8, barns 1, burning 27, commercial 1, deck stairs 3, demolition 1, electrical HVAC 4, furnace boiler 4, generator 2, roofs 3, sheds 3, single family 2, solar panel 5, wireless communications 1, wood pellet stove 1, total permits 66, estimated cost of building $8,180,026, Fees collected, certificate of occupancy, $1,475. Permit extensions, $3,614.50. Building permits, $17,265.84. Request for information, $2,000. Total building fees, $24,355.34. Fire inspections, $3,300. Total fire fees, $3,300. Burning fees, $45. And total fees for the month, $27,700.34. Any questions from Tom in Arizona? No. Okay. Tom's at the Super Bowl.
He's on his way home.
Okay. Next up, Superintendent of Highways. Oh, no, you're up next. You sent your report separately, that's why. That's why I had it separate.
We could have done first, that's fine.
No, go ahead.
Okay, activity summary for the month of January 2023. Personal injury auto accidents 4, fatal 0, property damage is 12 for a total of 16 for the month. Vehicle and traffic summonses issued 125, 0 parking violations. It's because we don't have any. We're working on it. Complaint activity, blotter entries, 1,083 blotter entries with a total arrest of 29 for the month. Telephone calls handled 1,011 calls. Full-time dispatch overtime is 0. Part-time dispatch overtime 32 hours. Mileage for the month, 10,711 miles with a fuel consumption of 997.815 gallons. Just a note to the board, before December, November timeframe, we applied for a grant for cameras, body-worn cameras. We did get that grant for $32,000. We're moving forward with the securing of the purchase of the body cameras and getting them set up and installed, and hopefully we had a desire to get them done by February. Well, that's not going to happen, but we're hoping by May that they're up and running and actually on our bodies. So I'm excited to, when they're up and running, to maybe show a few videos of what our perspective looks like from those cameras. I think it's a great addition. The world is going that way. Thank you for the board's support to move forward with it, to be a little bit ahead of the curve, because eventually I think the state's going to mandate it, and it's better to get them now when we can establish a budget for it rather than just to have to come up with that money.
How many cameras did you?
We plan on buying 16. Yeah. That should cover our department and any special details or anything we do. I originally wanted to get one for every officer, but the expenses outweighs the value to it, but I don't think we could afford that. The other good news is, 3 years ago now, we got a grant for $50,000 on a vehicle. With the supervisor's help, we finally got the approval for the reimbursement. We didn't get the money yet, but we got the approval for the reimbursement. After a dozen or so emails back and forth with them nitpicking, it's all said and done, so we should be seeing that money come back as well.
Yep. Good persistence, Jerry, right?
Yes.
You going home, Ron? You got to go out this way. Unless you want to go to the bathroom first, you could have to go. Thanks, Ron. You guys got any other questions for Jerry?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate it, as always. Now we got Tommy's report, or highway report. Who wants to read it? Go ahead, Dave. You want to read it?
Monthly report. Monthly report for January 2023. During the month, we picked up Christmas trees throughout both towns. We hired Di Lorenzo Tree Care to remove several dead trees on Grand Street, Mount Rose Road, Mill House, Ridge Road, Old Indian Road, Maple Street, and Watson Avenue. We rented a stump grinder and removed all the stumps of the trees that were taken down. We also spent several days trimming trees. On 120, we had to remove a tree that had fallen down a round pond at the park. We assisted UCRRA chipping the brush pile at the landfill. We had JKN Trucking transport the chips to the UCRRA facility in Kingston. We continued to ditch along the roadsides in both towns. We had to repair a ditch line on Ridge Road that had been washed out from a rainstorm on 125. On 123, 125, and 131, we had rain and snow events, which required us to send trucks out to salt the roadways. We set a new storage container behind the salt building for the water department to store their fittings, Throughout the month, we sent crews out to coal patch. Fuel usage, gas, 121.861 gallons, diesel, 1,404.489 gallons. Respectfully submitted, John Alonji, Highway Superintendent.
Oh, and you also did this with the Highway Department today. So you guys, for a while, seen the rocks up at St. Mary's Church in the parking lot for the Marlborough Trail. So Dave, today, with the Highway Department's help, started doing what they're supposed to do. They're lining the stream so it doesn't wash away anymore. So these are just some pictures. They actually moved the walkway bridge, right, Dave?
Yeah, so I would just like to say,
Talk about it?
we relocated the bridge and made a connecting trail to the original trail, and then we lined the whole ditch with shot rock, and we should be able to finish the project tomorrow. But I would just like to say, not just myself, but the highway superintendent sent his deputy down, Gary Lazaroff, with Jerry, Murtaugh, Mike Scatoro, and then Charlie allowed Cliff Rude to come down as well. And you know, it's easy to say about these guys all the time. You know, they keep the roads and they run their departments great, but until you really work with these guys personally, it makes you really appreciate what we have in this town. These guys are, I can't say enough about them. They're skilled, you know, like what we did today. You just can't take a half a dozen guys and go down and do something like this. No. The 4 of us met down, 5 of us met down there today, and it was like a well-oiled machine, and it just, everything went very smoothly. And like I said, by tomorrow, we should have it completed. So I'd like to thank both departments.
Is that your finger, Dave?
Probably.
No, it was an awesome job. Like, you know, that one picture, you could see like how they, it's not just one person doing it. Like, you could see these guys are in there measuring things, moving the block around.
Yeah, no, it was...
It's not just pick up the, you know, the piece of wood and move it over.
Yeah, it was, it definitely was, it was nice to work with a bunch of guys that really pulled together and already know what they're doing. It wasn't like you had to, you know, nobody was really running the show. Everybody just pulled together and did what they had to do.
And that's your, you know, end project. So, you know, hopefully it doesn't wash away. I know we wanted to get a little more bigger rocks, but I think this will
Well, it's better than what we had. And
definitely help.
You know, if you get a hurricane storm, you know, it might not hold as well, but, you know, a couple
It'll
inch
hold
rainstorm,
better than if
it'll
it
be
didn't
fine.
have it, right, Dave?
Yeah.
So that's the main thing.
And I'll just add to, while we're on the topic of what we've been doing, again, the highway department and myself are getting together on Wednesday, and we are going to get a couple hundred yards of topsoil, which has been donated by one of our town that would rather not be mentioned, but he donated a couple hundred yards of topsoil, and it's going down to the train station on the other side of the track so that we can finish up the landscaping part down there where the walkway was put in.
Yep.
And today I sent my guys down there to clean up the damage from the storm when all the, when the tide came up over top of the dock.
Yeah, if
there.
you guys didn't see that, when we had that bad storm and we had the flooding and all that, a good thing we put those rocks in because it held back really well. No rocks moved, obviously. The shoreline stayed intact. And I believe we would have lost some more of our shoreline for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
If we didn't have that there. So you did a good job, Dave. So
No, it wasn't just me.
I know, but you placed every one of those rocks. So
Yes.
I know you did. So I thank you, and thank the highway department, like you said, and the water department. These guys are always helping out.
Yeah,
So,
they were great.
you know, when people say, okay, it's not snowing out and it's cold out and there's nothing for these guys to do, trust me, John always has something for these guys to do. So, or me and Dave or one of the other board members asked them to do something. So, thank you. So, Charlie, you're up. Good evening, Charlie. Thanks for getting Badger to come, Charlie.
Yeah, you're welcome. Monthly report for January, our water consumption totaled 15,666,000 gallons, which is a daily usage of 505,354 gallons per day. Last month we had 16,341,000, which is a daily usage of 527,129 compared to a year ago, we had 16,324,000, which was a daily usage of 526,580 gallons a day. Summary for the month, we've repaired curb boxes on Jonathan Place and Old Post Road. Meters, we had to replace 25 Orion meters to prepare for billing. This is happening, this is why we dearly need these meters. What's happening now is the batteries are failing on them, so the meters are failing to transmit a reading to our system. This doesn't mean that their meters stop reading, it's just that now, if we can't read them from the outside, we have to go personally into the house. And my concern was if I'm going to go into the house, I want to repair them with these new meters. The meters approximately cost around the same as the other meters, which we would personally. The only thing is, when it comes down to billing, we will not be able to read them. But Tom Sprigg, which he was here tonight, he offered to send his receiver down. He would come here and read the ones, our new meters that we cannot currently read with our Orion system. So that was a helpful thing.
You replaced a few of them. I mean, you did some stuff in the last couple of weeks already, right?
Yeah, but that's with our meters that can do it, but currently we're very, very limited to what we have, what our system could handle. So we have to put these new meters, which we will not be able to read from the outside.
Let's just be clear, it's not the actual meter, it's the transfer.
Transmitter, that's what I was trying to
Transmitter.
explain,
Right,
that the
right.
transmitter
It's
will
the transmitter, not the
not, the
actual
meter,
meter.
they'll read forever, it's just that we'll have to get into the house. And I said,
Right.
if I have to get into the house, I would like to replace the
So
meter.
what's the battery going bad in the transmitter?
In the transmitter, that's correct.
And so, I mean, is it like a special battery, or is it like, what kind of battery is that we're talking about? Something that is, what's the lifespan of the battery?
They said, like the gentleman said, it's 10 years with 10 years prorated. Currently, we started installing the meters in 2009, so they're approximately 14 years old. They don't support the system. They don't support putting new batteries on this system. They want you to purchase new meters. That's all it comes down to. Also, when he was talking about cellular meters, right now, currently, the meters that we're purchasing are about $175, $170. If we go to replace them with cellular meters, they are $275. They are $100 more per meter. So right now, again, we could install them. Some of them will take 5 to 10 minutes, and that's not replacing the base on them. But with the cellular, there might be other things that might not be, that we can't read, or I don't know. He says that you'd have to move them. There's a wire on them. Some of them get placed in certain parts of the basement. Some of them might have to even go outside. He was stressing. But right now, the meters that we want to get are the drive-bys, our current system. The cellular, if we go, we'd still have to upgrade, because if our system goes down, we will not be able to read the meters that are currently there. Okay, water mains, I inspected an installation of 1,200 feet of water main and valves at the Bayside project. We prepared the removal of our storage shed and started transferring our inventory in our new sea container with the help of with the assistance of the highway department. We also helped the highway department remove a tree at a round pond. Closings, we had 3, markouts 30, gallons of gas 175, and mileage for the month is 1,300.
Thanks, Joey.
You have the video of you at Round Pond? Can we play that?
Bruno's got it.
I want to put the Charlie was a trooper. He gets into a rowboat with no oars, and then tries to. He had a shovel. And tries to lift up a tree that's about 2,000 pounds, and he sinks half the boat into the water with him in it.
Got soaked.
And he got a little wet, but it's a funny video. It'll play at our Christmas party. Don't worry.
So Charlie,
Thank
the
you.
AMR drive-by media, how many times do we do it? When do we do it?
Currently, we do it I do read right currently once a month, just for our own safety. If a customer has any problems with a water meter or something, I could retrieve the information and explain to the person when it occurred, when the leak was. That's with our drive-by system. We also, certain meters that we have, we could profile the meter where we have to go into the house and we put it on the computer and it'll tell us when the leak occurred, how many gallons per hour, but that's only certain meters in our system. With this new system, we'll be able to just drive up to the house and all the information will just come right to the computer without going inside the house.
Well, with this AMI, you don't even have to go to the house, right?
No, that's the cellular.
That's what I'm saying.
That's cellular.
So,
What, my problem with the cellular is we will not be able to replace the amount of meters in a significant amount of time. So the cellular is going to be there, and yes, we'll be able to read them, but our old system is there. As these meters are failing, if we purchase new meters, we will not be able to read them by drive-by. So by getting cellular, we still have to use two processes of drive-by and cellular. So I was just hoping
I
that
don't
maybe.
understand why. What do you have to, if you have the new AMI, the cellular, why would you still do that?
Because we have to replace 1,500 meters.
Oh, I mean, until the whole
Until
transition
the
is done.
transition is done, there will not.
And Charlie, you said it took 3 years to
3
replace all
years.
the meters last time, so this is not going to be an instantaneous changeover.
We average 300 to 500 meters a year. The problem's not changing the meter, the problem is getting the customer available and then to change it. Some days you change 20 of them, some days you change 2. If everybody cooperated, and it probably wouldn't take no time, but people are working and there's other ways. Like I said, it took us 3 years, so.
Yeah, I mean, with the new AMI system, basically, they'll still be driving around, but they'll have a tablet instead of the old computer that the software don't work. It'll go into a cloud-based system, so it eliminates our server that we have to have here for the backup, but it gives them the ability to replace those transmitters as we go,
This
and you're still doing the same thing.
This new AMI system.
And we get the new software.
Will read the new meters that we purchase and our meters that we currently have. It will be able to read all of them and also retrieve the information and put it in the cloud, so our secretary will be able to do billing efficiently.
All right, thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Charlie, appreciate it. Colleen, you're up.
And that was 22,000.
Yeah, in charge of $12 a year.
Okay, Town Clerk Monthly Report for January 2023. Burn permits 1 for $30. Dog licenses 23 for $130. Towing licenses 5 for $1,500. Water services 1 for $1,000. Transfer station permits 13 for $824. Punch cards 18 for $1,338. Building department fees 1 for $10,518.16. Fire fees 1 for $1,480. Accident reports 4 for $20. Certified copies 8 for $370. Train station fees 2 for $900. Sewer fees 1 for $250. Youth program Polar Express 1 for $810. For a grand total of $19,170.16.
Any questions for Colleen? Nope. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Councilwoman Sesha, you want to read Julian's report?
I would love to. Water Quality Management, February 3rd, 2023. For the month of January 2023, both the Marlborough and Milton wastewater treatment plants complied with all of the SPEED's requirements. The following are monthly statistics for both plants. Marlborough, average daily flow 158,000 gallons per day, about 90% of design capacity. Average BOD removal 94%. Average suspended solids removal 88%. Milton, average daily flow 33,000 gallons per day, about 55% of design capacity. Average BOD removal 97%. Average suspended solids removal 89%. Both the Marlborough and Milton treatment plants operated normally during the month of January without any major changes or events. The replacement motor for the screw pump at the Marlborough facility was delivered and has been installed. Both screw pumps are operating normally. The heavy flow for the Marlborough plant was due to large amounts of inflow and infiltration of rainwater coming into our collection system. Fortunately, the system was able to operate normally without any major issue. Overall, both wastewater treatment plants are in good working order but are getting older. If you need any additional information, please do not hesitate to contact Julian.
Thank you. Eddie, you want to do the dog control?
Yeah.
I'm going down the line here.
All right. Thursday, February 2nd, 2023, monthly report from 1/1/2023 to 1/31/2023. Received total of 12 calls this month, including 2 calls to service from the Marlborough Police, New York State Police, or Ulster County Sheriff. Responded to 2 active complaints and/or cases which are now closed or resolved. We currently have 3 open case or complaints. We impounded 0 dogs this month. 0 appearance tickets were issued this month. There were 1 dog bite reported this month. We have 1 dangerous dog case under investigation. National news, Punxsutawney Phil, the weather prognosticator, groundhog, during the 136th celebration of Groundhog Day in Gobbler's Knob, Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania, has predicted 6 more weeks of winter. Please continue to be careful with your pets outdoors. There is more single-digit weather coming our way. End of report.
Oh, he's a character there.
You gotta throw a little humor in there, I guess.
Oh, I should have saved this one for you, Ed, but we're going to give it to Manny,
My
because I know how you love to do
It's
the
my
assessment.
favorite report.
Okay,
Go ahead.
Assessor's Office. We have February 7th, February report. We prepared 6 tax estimates. We received 32 transfers for the month of January. We are slowly getting in our renewal exemption application for the aged and nonprofit and agricultural exemptions. All exemptions must be filed on or before March 1st, 2023. We sent out a final reminder notice at the end of January for all our exemption renewals. The State Department of Taxation and Finance have been managing all New Star and Enhanced Star applications, and questions, concerns should be directed to the New York State Department of Tax and Finance Department. We are continuing to work with collecting our new construction and will continue to field review our sales from the month of January. The county will be mailing out postcards, 2,800 plus, to all residential property owners in the town to let them know that they may be eligible for senior age exemption if they meet certain criteria. These will be printed on postcards. This is occurring because of the recent changes in New York State real property tax law governing this exemption. There has been a recent change to the real property tax law which governs the volunteer firefighters and the ambulance workers, RP-466-A exemption. Each taxing jurisdiction will need to adapt the new law and set their parameters for the exemption administration. End of report.
Thank you. All right. Planning Board, January 2023, escrow fees $16,055.53, recreation fees $4,000, invoices $9,912.46. Meeting January 3rd, 2023, meeting was canceled. Next deadline Friday, January 6th, 2023. Next scheduled meeting Tuesday, January 7th, 2023. At the January 17th, 2023 meeting, attendees were Chris Brand, Fred Callow, James Garofalo, Steve Jennison, Cindy Lanzetta, Joe Farrow, Bob Tronsolito. The agenda approval stenographer minutes from 11/21/22 and 12/19/2022. Approval for the above minutes was granted unanimously after making the correction to the 12/19/2022 minutes. First on the docket was Chris Noto, Orange Street, 33-35 Orange Street, Marlborough preliminary subdivision. After discussion of the town engineer, Pat Hines, comments regarding the subdivision, the board issued a negative declaration for the project and authorized their attorney to draft a resolution for approval for the next regularly scheduled meeting. Terra Group 2021-2025, Route 9W, Milton, sketch site plan. Neither the applicant nor the representative was in attendance. A discussion. The board held a lengthy discussion regarding the process applicants must undergo to receive approval. The board will continue to review the process to see when and where improvements can be made. Next deadline, Friday, January 20th, 2023. Next scheduled meeting, Monday, February 6th, 2023. Respectfully submitted, Chris Brand, Chairman of the Marlborough Planning Board. Thank you very much. Okay. Recreation Committee, Councilwoman Sesha, you have anything new?
Nothing new since our last meeting in January. The committee, though, is meeting on Wednesday of this week instead of Tuesday due to Valentine's Day, so that's an open meeting at Bricks. They're hoping to finalize the Easter egg hunt date at that meeting so we can begin promotion of that, and I think that'll be our soonest event. Although the committee did hope to host a sledding under the stars this winter, the weather is just not cooperating on that one, so it looks like Easter will be the first major event.
Do a mudslide under the stars. But yeah, that would have been nice. Emergency Managed Preparation Committee. Gail, do you want to talk about anything that happened at the meeting you attended, or? Maybe next month. Okay, so the county's been getting with every municipality and having joint meetings, and Everett and Michael have been doing a great job trying to get all the municipalities involved, doing a good job. So, okay, next meeting. Conservation Advisory Committee, Mickey.
Good evening. I sent a formal report that I'm sure has been circulated. I just wanted to, highlight a few areas. I'm very pleased with the energy and the participation of this group of volunteers who represent such diverse backgrounds and interests. One of the included points was public outreach on environmental issues. To help us begin this process, I've reached out to the Rec Committee to see if we can participate in some way with the Easter egg hunt and in any appropriate future events. I hope that this can be accomplished. And we're also hoping to have a presence at Meet Me in Marlborough's Main Street Blossom Festival in Milton with a table or demonstration devoted to an environmental issue. One suggestion was to discuss pollinators, and we have a volunteer ready to head that. I am looking for one of our members to develop a Climate Smart Community website and hopefully to develop our own Facebook page. In the meantime, we will continue to make our updates to be included on the town's website. And I thank Danielle and Tina for helping out on that. We are also looking forward to working with Rosemary Wine in regards to possible grant opportunities. And thank you for your continued support.
Thank you. Appreciate it. IT Committee. We talked enough about IT stuff, software. Milton Train Station Foundation. I don't have a report from them. Just to update, I think the board is, if they don't know, we did have to change the train station locks. When I did have that meeting with Todd, one of the questions came up is how we're utilizing that building. And basically he said that no one should be in that building unless we know about it. And so I had to notify the Milton Train Station Foundation Committee and tell them we're changing the locks, and anytime they need to meet there, they have to go through the clerk's office to reserve a time. So it makes sense, right? You have to know who's in your buildings. God forbid something happens in those buildings, and then we don't know that they're in those buildings, then they're not going to pay the claim. So it makes sense. So they're all aware of that, and that was changed on February 1st. So, and all the appropriate people that should have a key do have a key. Milton Land and Citizens Committee, I didn't get a report from that. Marlborough Hamlet Economic Development Committee, I'm not sure if this committee's met in a couple of years, so I'm not sure if we keep this on this list, but I guess it doesn't hurt. So, Meet Me in Marlborough, she did send a report. She just sent an updated report, so let's see here. February 13th, 2023, Meet Me in Marlborough Town Board Report. 1/24/23, meeting with the Town of Marlborough Building Inspector and Code Enforcement Officer and County Legislator Thomas Corcoran to discuss Meet Me in Marlborough's beloved banners. Oh, that's right. She wants to do those banners like Tommy's doing for the veterans. To help us fulfill a grant requirement, Meet Me in Marlborough is asking that the Town of Marlborough sponsor the Meet Me in Marlborough banners to help us continue to promote our town and letter on the website. I don't know if the board members are aware of this. So Meet Me in Marlborough is asking that there are certain banners that get put around town that highlight like historic farms and different businesses within our town, similar to the veteran signs that the county legislator is doing. I know we had a meeting about that, and then they're asking us to sponsor those signs, which would be $250. I'm not against this. I'm not 100% for it at this point, only because I think it might take away a little from the veteran signs, and also it could start cluttering the town with a lot of signs all over the poles. So I think it's something that the board just digest it, take it in, get back to me with how you feel on it, and we could discuss it with them. February and March promotions, Meet Me in Marlborough gift certificates. She had images below, which I'll show. Grant projects to be completed for the banners. Yearly community calendar included on the Meet Me in Marlborough website. Meet Me in Marlborough goals to provide our community with the yearly calendar to help plan annual and future events. The use of the references to help avoid conflicts with our community events. We are requesting all annual community events and fundraiser information be emailed to their website, their email address, and to be included in this year's yearly calendar. We enter the information onto our calendar, or town, school, civic, or organizational representatives are welcome to enter their event directly on the Meet Me in Marlborough website. So this is something that they've done for a long time, and they do put a good calendar together, and they try to take town events, school events, civic events, and get it all in one spot. So I know you guys from the Recreation Committee had a discussion with her, so it's a good thing. Creation of Meet Me in Marlborough map and business listings, posters to be displayed at members' locations, quarterly member meetings, March date and location to be announced, June, October, December. Planning this year's events, April, May, Saturday 4/22 or Saturday 4/29 is Spring Blossom and May Festival event. May, Saturday 5/21, a rain date 5/20/22, May Farm and Artisan Market. That's April coming up. May. May to October, Hudson Valley Farmers Market on Alpha 9W. October, Saturday 10/7 and Sunday 10/8, rain date. The Bounty Festival, October, Saturday 10/28, 2 p.m., 4 p.m. Kids and adults trick or treat in the Hamlet of Marlborough. November, Saturday 11/18, buy local event Thanksgiving Farmers Market. And November, December tractor parade. She's always trying to do that tractor parade. So do you guys have that date for the trick or treat similar for you guys? 10/28?
We actually had, I think, the dates when we discussed our trunk or treat in January, so I will verify that with the committee, but they were referencing her dates when they were looking at it.
Because it usually works out good that way. We'll deliver the chair from the Latin Town School to be displayed at the Town Hall. Previously note on 11/9, Tom Schroeder and I went to meet with Joe Camuglia at the Latin Town School on the south end of Marlborough. Joe donated a desk from the school to be kept for historical purposes. We hope it can be put and displayed at the Marlborough Town Hall. And this is Joe's information. An information plaque about the farmer's statue creation to show the history of why the statue was created, by who and why it was made, included in the statue at the Town Hall, and call scheduled for American Cruise Lines. And BJ, just so you know, today, also BJ reached out to me today that C Streak is starting to get some more interest in coming back and hopefully booking some excursions out of the Marlborough. And American Cruise Line, just so you know, has already paid their yearly $25,000 check, and they already booked their bookings for the fall this year. Next year, 2024, they'll have new ships, and they're going to be starting cruising in June and July, and then the fall. And this year, Libland is not going to be cruising up the Hudson River, so they will not be docking at Marlborough this year, and then they'll reevaluate next year. Locust Grove Fruit Farm Bicentennial will be 520 barbecue, tractor parade, and a couple bands will be included. More details to be announced. And that's from Meet Me in Marlborough. Where are we? Hamilton Milton Association Committee, I don't have anything. Transfer station.
Scott, if I can just interject on that one, Vivian is the Hamlet of
good.
Milton,
Yep.
and also she participates on the rec committee, so we have good visibility across both groups. And the two events that are coming up for the Hamlet of Milton are the Spring Fling fundraiser, which I believe as of this morning was just moved to Wednesday, April 26th, tentatively at Locust Grove Brewery. And then there's an HMA cleanup day, which is tentatively Sunday, April 30th.
All right, good. That's always a good event. So, cleanup day with the construction is going to be a little difficult, but okay. And the Transfer Station Review Committee, I do not have anything. And item 9, presentations, we already did. Old business, Tom back, we kind of went over already in my report. So item 11, new business. I just got to ask the board, if you don't realize this is actually our 10th year in this building. And so according to our contract with the school district, I need board permission to write them a letter to say we want to option our 10-year renewal for the next 10 years. So I need a motion to write a letter to the school district so we could start in motion their meeting to put it on their agenda. So I need a motion to write a letter for our 10-year option on our agreement with the school district.
I'll make the motion for you to write the letter to the school district to exercise our 10-year option on our lease.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. I'll get that out right away. Correspondence, I do got a bunch of correspondence this time. So we did receive some grant checks back. So we received $39,281.44 from our Tomback building, and then we also received $202,712.09 for our Tomback building, and these were member item grants, and that was from Mr. Scoofus's grant, 19240. So those have been received, so that's good news. As Jerry said, we will be receiving the $50,000 grant coming soon. This one is from Meet Me in Marlborough, which was what I just read. Is it? Oh. I'm going to hold on to, I'm going to send you guys this. This is her requesting that we pay for those signs. So I'm going to send you this letter before we actually, and we'll look at it next meeting. Okay? And this one is from Erica Fuso. I think I sent you this, guys, but this is what she's asking. Dear Supervisor Corcoran, Town Board in the committee, I am writing this letter to request to donate a memorial bench to be placed at the Marlborough Reservoir. I would happy to do all the work and then donate the bench to the town of Marlborough. I'm not sure of the guidelines of how this works, but I'd be happy to learn. February 19, 2022, I had to say goodbye to my absolute best friend, Izzy, my beloved dog. I was lucky enough to be her mom for 13 years, and they were the absolute best years. There is something about the unconditional love that you receive from a dog that just makes your world a better place. The hardest part of being a dog parent is you go into it knowing you will have to say goodbye to them. Their love and devotion is so pure that it makes the excruciating and heartbreaking worth it. The Marlborough Reservoir was one of her most favorite locations in the world and one we walked almost every day. It would be so incredible to place a bench there in her honor. I would be nice for her to visit that to be frequently and at the reservoir to take a break and take a seat on the bench and take in the beauty. We all need a reminder sometimes to sit, relax, and take some deep breaths while enjoying the outdoors, provided the small space would be so special for us. I am proposing to the town that the permission to donate one natural-looking park bench in Izzy's honor at the Marlborough Reservoir, an estimated cost of $500. Below you will see the photos of the bench I like to place at the location, and I sent that to you guys. And this is on the east side of the reservoir, and the bench will be facing west. It's the last spot that the sun hits before it sets the highest part of the reservoir. My photo, you will see the spot where the sun is setting, I should say, when you enter the reservoir and start walking right. So, thank you for your time, and hopefully a piece of Izzy can live forever at the Marlborough Reservoir, and a spot for her, for all of us who have lost a beloved pet, can find solitude. Sincerely, Erica Fuso. So, Izzy, very nice letter, very nice conversation I had with Erica. So I'm going to ask the board that, according to our donation policy, she put in here it's estimated $500, that we allow her to donate and place this bench at the reservoir. So I just need a motion for that, if you want to do it.
I'll make the motion for Erica to donate the bench to the town of Marlborough and place it at the reservoir.
Thank you.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I'll contact her tomorrow. All right. This is, okay, to whom it may concern, my name is Emily Ochen, and I am writing this letter on behalf of the Marlborough Elementary School Special Education Department. We're requesting the use of the Cluent Chance Memorial Park on Saturday, April 22nd, 2023, for our first ever color run in support of Autism Awareness Month. As a department, we service students kindergarten through 5th grade, many of which are diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder. In our efforts to help celebrate these students, we would like to host a color run where all students in the building would be invited to Round Pond to participate, to spread awareness and acceptance for all people on the autism spectrum. Staff will volunteer to spread the colorful powder as students run or walk. The money raised from this event will go directly towards people diagnosed with ASD. Not only will this event spread awareness for autism, but it will also continue to develop the sense of community and togetherness that we are striving for this school year at the Marlborough Elementary School. Thank you for your time and consideration. And that's from Emily Ochen, special education teacher and team leader at the Marlborough School District. Very good cause, and I know you got that in the book already, just reserved, so.
I'm good with waiving the fee.
And I know you've been working with them, right?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sestra? So I just need a motion to waive the fees for April 22nd.
I make a motion to waive the fees for April 22nd.
And a second?
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you. Okay, now we got the town of Marlborough. This is from the Marlborough United Soccer Club. Dear Mr. Corcoran, with your permission, the Marlborough United Soccer Club would like to request the use of the lower Round Pond Cluent Chance soccer field for our spring 2023 recreational youth soccer program. Saturdays in April, from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. The specific dates are 4/15, 4/22, 4/29, 5/6, 5/13, 5/20, tentative rate date 5/27. And those you already checked, right, Colleen?
Yeah, they can't have two of the dates because the one is with a color run and another one is a
Oh, yeah.
event for Marlborough football.
Okay.
They're aware.
Well, we'll let them know the ones they can't have, and then we'll go from there. Well, assuming that the board okays this. Regarding insurance, we are a member of the East Hudson Youth Soccer League, and it will be provided through the league for the field and players. It is currently on file with the town clerk. Thank you for your time, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me, 802-309-3260. Regards, Denny Menser, Marlborough United Soccer Club. So I need a motion for them to use the soccer field for the dates stated.
I'll make that motion for the youth to use the soccer field.
Wait a minute, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So when we do things like this, I want it to be very well known that they are responsible for picking up after themselves on the grounds and also using the facilities.
Tell Colleen.
Because we've had problems with this in the past. They should have an adult monitor when the children go to the bathroom. I hate to be forward here, but I'm one of the guys that has to go down there. Charlie's the other guy's got to go down there. We're adults. If they can't control the children, then my vote is to not allow them to use these facilities because this is ridiculous. I don't want to get into detail what's happened down there in the past, but it's pretty disgusting. I'll leave it at that. So I want to make it known now that this is not going to be tolerated anymore. Somebody has to be held accountable, and whoever's in charge of this league should be held accountable.
We spoke with them. They're obviously, there's no cameras in the bathroom.
Well,
so
obviously.
They're not gonna.
But they could
We told
have,
them they need chaperones to escort the kids. So
Absolutely.
An adult has to be there. We spoke to them about that, and we spoke to the softball.
never mind about the disgusting things they do, but we've had urinals ripped off the walls. We've had toilet paper things ripped off the walls. It's not acceptable. And if this is what's going to happen, then either we don't let them use the facility or they will have to rent a porta potty at their own expense. I don't know what we're going to do, but we're not going to tolerate it anymore.
Right.
I've been sitting on this board for a short while, and for what I've seen and what I've seen in the past years when I wasn't on the board, it's disgusting. And those people should be embarrassed that they're running, I'm not just saying it's them, but
Right, well, that's the thing. I mean, but I have spoken.
if we don't start enforcing these things, it's just going to get worse.
No, yeah, good point, Dave. They were notified, but very good point, and we just got to
So what do you want to
reiterate
do?
that
You
again
want-
this year.
You just want me
We
to
want them-
reiterate what I already told them, or you want?
No, if you already
to-
told them, it's fine, but
Uh-huh.
let them know that we will be checking, and if there is a
Then there will
problem,
be-
somebody's going to be held accountable for it, whether it be monetary or sending somebody down there to clean. We're not going to do it anymore.
Right.
Okay, again, I'll make my motion for the youth soccer club to use the playing fields with certain maintenance restrictions as outlined by Councilman Zambito.
No second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, thank you. All right, this one is from the Board of Fire Commissioners from the Marlborough Fire District. Supervisor Corcoran, the Marlborough Fire District is in the process of purchasing a small parcel of land located at Orange Street behind the Marlborough Firehouse, and we're requesting, and we would appreciate it, the planning board fees be waived. Thank you very much for your consideration of this matter. Best regards, Peter Carafano. And I told Peter this is just the planning board fee for the application. It's not the actual escrow and all that stuff, so he understands it. So this is just the planning board application fee. So I'm okay with it, but I told him, obviously, it's not up to me. So I would need a motion to waive that fee for the Marlborough Fire District.
Is there any precedent of us waiving
No,
fees in these cases?
no, this is just the application fee. So it's up to you guys.
I don't have an issue with it personally.
Yes. Yeah, he already sent us check for escrow and all that stuff.
Okay.
Need a motion? No?
I'll make a motion to waive the application fee for the Marlborough Fire Department.
Okay.
I'll
Second it.
Got it? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, I appreciate it. This was the SAM grant that we did. And then I got one, of course, Jerry cannot have somebody that doesn't leave. So But this one is a long-standing officer, so February 1st, 2023. Good evening, Supervisor Corcoran, Councilman Malinelli, Councilman Zambito, Councilwoman Session, and Councilman Cauchi. I ran to you tonight to advise you of my imminent full-time police retirement from the town of Marlborough Police Department, effective February 28, 2023. If I may, I would like to take a moment to reflect on my tenure at the town of Marlborough Police Department. At 19 years of age, I started dispatching with this agency and eventually became a police officer a few years later. I was ultimately promoted to my current rank as police sergeant. During my tenure at the town of Marlborough Police Department, I was fortunate to have had the opportunity to attend numerous trainings and conferences which allowed me to grow and mature into a police officer that I am today. Additionally, and one of the most important aspects of my job, are the numerous lifelong friends that I have established during my employment. Subsequently to the numerous conversations that we had regarding post-retirement opportunities with this agency, I'm respectfully requesting to be reappointed as a part-time officer for the town of Marlborough, specifically as school resource officer for the Marlborough Central School District, as per our discussion. As per New York State Civil Service rules, I am required to relinquish my police officer status for a minimum of 24 hours. Be it as it may, I am requesting that you reappoint me as a part-time police officer effective at 000 hours on March 1st, 2023. As previously mentioned, among the vast amounts of training and certifications that I possess, I am a New York State DCJS certified school resource officer, SRO. It is bittersweet and I am somewhat somber writing this letter, but I am ready to and excited to move on to the next chapter of my career. Thank you again and God bless you all. Warm regards, Sergeant Justin Pascal. So Justin pretty much said it all in his letter. Since 19 years of age, he's been serving our community, and I'm happy to say he will still continue to serve our community in a different capacity. He's going to be going from full-time to part-time, although he will be an SRO, so it's kind of like full-time, but he does have a lot of days off, and so it's considered part-time. But I appreciate him coming to me early on, discussing his plans and what he wanted to do, and with the chief, I know there was a lot of discussions we had with this, and this was part of our discussion with the 4th SRO that the school district is requesting, and so the timing just happened to be perfect, that he wanted to retire, and they were looking for a 4th SRO. So it's bittersweet that he's leaving as our full-time officer and all the experience that he has, and as a sergeant and training that he has, but I don't believe we're going to lose a lot of that knowledge and training because he'll still be in our ranks. So I'm going to read this, and next meeting we'll probably have a resolution to officially appoint him to part-time as of March 1st. So thank you, Justin. Okay, and that's all the correspondence.
That's enough.
That's a lot. All right, anybody have a public comment that I haven't talked about yet? Good, thank you. So now we could get into item 14, Resolution 30. February 13th, 2023, Resolution 30 to amend the Town of Marlborough Employee Handbook. And just so you know, right, we don't have the part-time planning board person anymore, so we have to take this out of our handbook. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following: whereas the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough adopted the Town of Marlborough Employee Handbook by resolution on June 25th, 2012, and whereas the Town Board wishes to amend the handbook to include the following updates. In Section 311, holidays, the following are holidays and dates of observance for all regular full-time employees. Omit the following: and Planning Board Secretary 5 hours. In Section 312, vacation, omit the following: the Planning Board Secretary, day to hire, vacation time, working day. After 3 years of service, 5, 25 hours. After 7 years of service, 10, 50 hours. After 14 years service, 15, 75 hours. And moves for its adoption to remove those sections of the employee handbook, unless you guys have questions first.
It's our full-time job starts now?
Yeah, she's already, yep.
So then, Is that when her service starts as far as the retirement and all that stuff starts now?
For that position, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she, like Jen has school time that she could buy
Right, but I'm
back. She
talking
has
about for-
part-time she could buy back.
Right,
yeah.
that's what I was asking you before.
Yeah, she could buy back time. That's on her, but yeah. So, all right. All right, Kyle.
Councilman Malinelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa?
Yes.
Councilman Kauki?
Yes.
Councilman Zambito?
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes. February 13, 2023, Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following, Resolution 31, to introduce a local law of the year 2023. Supervisor Corcoran, seconded by, anybody?
I'll take that one.
Councilwoman
I took one
Sesha introduced the following proposed local law to be known as Local Law Number 1 of 2023, entitled, so now this is just so you know, we're not actually, this is just, we're introducing the law, so we're not actually passing the law tonight, we're introducing the law. Proposed a local law to be known as Local Law Number 1, 2023, entitled Local Law Number 1, 2023, Local Law providing for partial exemption from taxation of certain real property owned by enrolled members of an incorporated volunteer fire company or fire department serving the town of Marlborough pursuant to Section 466-A of the real property tax law. Be enacted by the Town Board of the Town of Marlborough. The Town Code is amended to read the purpose for the following. Section 1, purpose, the local law is enacted for the purpose of exemption from taxation certain real property owned by enrolled member of the incorporated volunteer company or fire department which serves to the town of Marlborough to the extent of 10% of the assessed value of such real property as authorized by Section 466A of real property tax law of the state of New York. Section 2, amendment, the town of Marlborough Code entitled Chapter 137, taxation shall be and hereby is amended by the local law by the addition to new Article 4, exemption for volunteer firefighters, which shall read in its entirety as follows. I'm not going to read all this.
Good.
Because it's all online. And we're going to read it next meeting because this is just the introduction.
You're not reading the whole thing next meeting either. Effective date.
All right. Section 6, effective date. This law shall become effective upon filing with the Office of New York State, Secretary of State, according to municipal home rule law. Supervisor Corcoran advised the town board that pursuant to municipal home rule law of the state of New York, it will be necessary to hold a public hearing upon this law. He offered the following resolution, which was seconded by, and that should say Councilwoman Sesha, not Councilman, who moved for its adoption. Whereas on February 13th, 2023, Supervisor Corcoran has introduced a local law for the town of Marlborough to be known as Local Law Number 1 of 2023, and I already said that. I'm not going to repeat it. Resolved that the public hearing be held in relation to the proposed changes as set forth in the form of notice hereinafter provided, as which hearing parties of interest and citizens shall have the opportunity to be heard and to be held at the Town Hall, 21 Milton Turnpike, Milton, New York, on February 27th, 2023 at 7 o'clock prevailing time, and that the notice of said meeting shall be published in the official newspaper of general circulation of the town of Marlborough by the town clerk at least 10 days before such hearing, and the notice shall be as the following form. And this is a standard public hearing form that the clerk's office will publish and post throughout the town. And the foregone resolution was duly put to vote, which resulted as follows.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes.
Councilman Malinelli?
Yes.
Councilman Kauki?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa?
Yes.
Councilman Zambito?
Thank you. And we'll have that next meeting.
You did
We
this
already
one.
did this one, right?
The next one, too.
We did this one. It's a long agreement.
34 should be the next one you do.
It's a long agreement.
No, you did that.
34.
Yep.
All right.
There it is. There it is.
Resolution 34, to appoint a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following, whereas the vacancy has occurred on the zoning board due to the resignation of member William Giametta, and whereas the current board wishes to fill the vacancy, and whereas the town clerk has posted an ad in the official newspaper seeking an interested person to fill the vacancy. Now therefore be resolved that Lawrence Bartoloni is hereby appointed to fill the zoning board seat effective immediately with the term ending date of December 31st, 2024. So a short term, but it's for he's filling a Bill's seat, Giametta, until the end of the year. And then we'd have to advertise again.
Next year.
Yeah, end of next year, I'm sorry, 2024. Then you'd have to advertise again, so. And moves for its adoption.
Councilman Molinelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa?
Yes.
Councilman Kauki?
Yes.
Councilman Zambito? Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes. Resolution 35, authorize the supervisor to sign the SRO agreement. And this is an agreement we have with the school. It's ongoing, and then we're adding to it. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following, whereas the town of Marlborough, the town entered into the certain intermunicipal agreement with the Marlborough Central School District, the school district, on or about October 28, 2019. The IMA, pursuant of which the town provided SRO service to the school district, and whereas the IMA was amended by amendment dated on February 28, 2022, whereas the town and the school district wish to further amend the IMA to provide for a service for a fourth floating SRO, and to the extent the term of the IMA of the terms of this condition is set forth in amendment to intermunicipal agreement in the form attached in this resolution, the amendment. And whereas it is deemed to be the best interest of the town and the school district to be further amended, the IMA as set forth in the amendment. It is hereby resolved that the amendment is approved and that the supervisor of the town is authorized to sign the amendment. Is substantially the form attached hereto. On behalf of the town, the foregoing resolution was duly put to vote and resolved as follows. And just so everybody knows, the fourth SRO, that's who Justin will spot. He will be taken as long as the chief says so. It's on him, and I believe he says yes. So, and the school district pays for his entire salary, and they also pay us for the use of the vehicle, as they do with the other SROs. So, and moves, and the resolution was duly put to vote and resolved as follows.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes.
Councilman Molinelli?
Yes.
Councilman Kauki?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa?
Yes.
Councilman Zambito?
Okay. Eddie?
At this
I don't
time,
even-
after 2 hours here with you, I would like to move for an adjournment.
Seconded by?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, so moved. Thank you. Sorry.